Okay, so this session we are focusing on the concept of creative thinking, and before starting reading, I wonder if anybody here can give us a definition of creative thinking. What is meant by that?
I think it means that you will try to find out new ways for doing or uh, inventing or anything related to finding new ways and unique ways that already they doesn't exist, but you think out of the box and you find that new way.
Excellent. Yes, the term thinking outside the box is a very major point that you made. And okay, there are just I think you mispronounced some words. Invent. The second syllable is stressed, and already. And I wonder if you'd like me to correct you. I mean, anybody.
Yeah, of course.
Uh huh. So, because some people tend to be
Yes.
shy and they lose their confidence, if they are corrected in public. But I
No,
think
I'm
it's
totally
good.
okay. And
Great. So I try to do that. So for anybody's speeches, and if you don't like that attitude, just let me know. Anybody, okay? Okay. Yes, thinking outside the box. So we have several participants here. Who knows what thinking outside the box means apart from WON?
It's like
I
thinking,
think
it's like
Yes.
thinking of a way to do something that outside of how the general public feels, like how you approach to do something to be different than from the general public.
Yes. Yes, to think differently, as you said. And Alireza, did you want to say something?
yes. I think the outside the box. I think outside the box means you have ideas, and the ideas aren't as the same as now ideas, and they are they are very exciting.
Yes, to some extent. Thank you. So, I think actually that was a good introduction. So let's start reading, and then we will just focus on the most important parts. Uh, okay, so let me see. Yeah, this is the a featured image or a photo thumbnail, post thumbnail. As you can see, it's a bulb, or let's say lamp, which is symbolic of creativity most of the time. So what is creative thinking? Creative thinking is the ability to look at things differently, thinking outside the box and find new ways of solving problems. Creative thinking skills are certainly not just for creative types like artists and musicians. Everyone can benefit from creative thinking from time to time, which means sometimes, but not often. So it was so easy. I acknowledge also the sources to prevent the violation of copyright laws. And creativity involves thinking of things in a novel way within the context in question. You have to set aside any assumption. And what is an assumption?
means the base idea that you have in order about a general problem, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Any
Yeah.
idea?
Pardon me?
Any idea?
Any idea? Yeah, your voice is so weak to me. Perhaps you need to get closer to the mic. A theory that has not become a fact yet, and it has not been proven completely. This is an assumption, and the verb form is assume. Or biases. What is a bias?
Means you hardly believe on something that you ignore the true facts about that.
Good. Yeah, you become prejudiced. Let me write prejudice. You might like to know that.
Sorry, but can I have a question?
Yes, sure.
What is the difference between theory and opposite?
Theory and fact.
Theory, no. Theory,
And assumption.
yeah, assumption.
Yeah, most of the time they are considered synonymous, but not all the time, you know. Theory is a raw assumption. With assumption, at least actually you have thought about it, it has been processed to some extent. And so you have given so much consideration to that at least, but theory perhaps not that much. But again, both of them have not been let's say validated, so they need validation before becoming facts.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so also we have hypothesis. Hypothesis is another word for that, which is more technical, you know. So, and look at things in a completely new way. By coming to a problem with an open mind, you allow yourself the chance to think creatively. Okay, so let's focus on some, because actually the text is so simple, it doesn't have any difficult words like the one we used to do and we just did yesterday. So I want you to just give us one different unique method or technique that you have used so far to boost your creativity. Just take a piece of paper and a pen. If you have not thought about it yet, you have 1 minute to think about it. Just make a list of what you can do to become more creative. And also, because it's very important for you in the 21st century, it is a must, you know, it is obligatory for any individual to become creative. And so I don't need to just actually focus on the benefits of that. It's so self-explanatory. So just take a piece of paper and a pen and make a list of what you can do. This is kind of brainstorming, and you definitely deal with that in the IELTS speaking part. So is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so use your 1 minute, and I'm going to ask anyone here. Use that time. Okay, so who is the first volunteer? Okay, sure.
To solve a problem, first I need to think how the general public approach to complete the task, then break it down. If there are different ways to solve it, and for that, I can see the most effective one using different ideas or different, like, make the most out of my abilities to solve ways in different, to solve problem in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So first of all, you just take a look at the ordinary approaches to solving a particular problem. So this is called critical thinking, and critical thinking and creative thinking are not completely different issues, as I said, so they just complete or supplement each other. So you just take a critical look at the things or any methods that have been employed by others, and then you try to just
Yeah, and
choose the
then
best one, or even actually create a new approach, a novel approach. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I will often break it down and try
Mm-hmm.
to see things in a different,
Mm-hmm. Yes, great.
to solve things to the best of my.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is called analytical thinking or critical thinking, which is very germane to or related to the concept of creative thinking, and they, as I said, complete each other. So far, so good. Any new approach, you should not repeat that. That's why I ask you to make a list. So if, for instance, one of your friends says something that that you wanted to say, you have something else to add. So the next person.
Excuse me, can we speak about IELTS class, for example?
If it is related to the concept of creativity, yes, why not?
Okay, thanks. I think, for example, when we can save the lessons, for example, today lessons and
Mm-hmm.
the last lessons, and so that we can review these lessons and the words and improve my words and English
Mm-hmm.
class.
So do you mean that this increases your creativity?
Okay, it's for example, for my it's a creative thing for improve my English.
Mm-hmm. This actually method is, in my idea, is quite creative and innovative in comparison to the traditional methods in which actually the teacher just enters the class and you just wait for the teacher lectures or gives a lecture. So this is a quite innovative approach to learning a second language. And yeah, thank you very much for just making that point. All right, so thank you. So far, so good. The third volunteer.
Can I take her?
Yes, certainly.
Well, personally, I think first of all you should try to find the best question. What is the right question about the problem? It's one step toward finding a creative way. And after that, if there is currently any solution for that problem, it's better to think what's wrong with that solution.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, because I'm a lazy person, I always think what is the easiest way to do something. That
Mm-hmm.
really helps me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lazy people. Of course, I'm not talking about you. Lazy people, yeah, are quite creative because, as you said, they try to find the easiest and actually the most feasible approach. Yeah, and I didn't talk about you, by the way. Because I had read some articles about the connection between actually. Indolence, as you said, or laziness and creativity, and there have been a large battery of research into this concept that you just said. Okay, again, actually, from what you said, I can come to this conclusion that this has something to do with critical thinking. And as I said, critical thinking and creativity are intertwined, although they are not the same. Okay, thank you so much. And what else? We have Nastasia, Nasreen, Ali Reza, and we are waiting for your ideas.
Yeah. I think that be more creative. I just need to try new things as much as possible and to get new skills and also try to solve daily tasks in a new way and just think more by my own without other people's opinion. So basically, I need to base only on my own opinion, thinking only by my own brain. So.
What do you mean thinking by your own brain? Do you mean that thinking collectively or putting your heads together actually is quite counter creative? I mean, against creativity?
I mean that some ideas in my head they were created by some other people, and when I want to invent something new, I need to think only by my own without taking for granted other people's opinions. I don't know. Maybe it's not good, but that's what I wrote.
Yes. Yeah. So you tend to take an individual approach to just looking at things differently, but some other people actually, it depends on one's personality. You know, some people like to solve problems with others. Some others like to solve problems in collaboration or out of collaboration. I mean, individually or collaboratively. Yeah. So I myself actually like to do both, but at first I should just look at the issue individually, because I'm an introverted person. If you are an extroverted person, you tend to just have counseling or actually cooperation, collaboration, asking for feedback, asking for ideas, even at the very beginning of the problem solving activity. Okay, so putting our heads together, and as you said, just individualizing the approach of problem solving by depending on your own mentality and mental ability. Okay, and so far so good. We have Alireza and Nasreen left.
I think in my job, I want to be a creative, and I want to just don't listen at the musics. For example,
Yeah, Alireza is a
I
musician,
have
you
a
should know. Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I think, for example, I have a Beethoven Sonata number 9, and I want to decipher it. When I want to decipher it,
What's the meaning of
I
the shift? I don't know. What's the shift? I don't know this
for
technical term.
example, it's a technical music. For example, uh, uh, take I don't know
Does it mean to
what can I
play the
mean
whole
it.
song on a different note?
Play the whole
Shift it to
song.
another note, for example, from do to re.
For example,
So we
I want
somehow got
to.
it.
Okay, I want to decipher it, and I don't. I shouldn't listen. I shouldn't listen because it's because I because when I listen, it means that I'm uh, uh,
You
I
block your
I
creativity.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. Uh,
Yes, it's
I
we got it. Yeah, you don't need to just follow the exact steps or notes of that music sheet, and you can use your own creativity, and you get some inspiration from that music, and yeah, you just continue your own approach. Okay, so far so good. Let's get back on track, and the next paragraph. This might seem counterintuitive. Counterintuitive means not creative. Aren't creative people known for being somewhat disorganized? Actually, organization is an important part of creativity. And so I have this question for you. How, because some people believe that, okay, in order to be creative, you just need to break the rules, you don't need to just get organized all the time. And in order for you to think of other ways or other approaches. So let's finish this paragraph. While you might need to get a bit messy when trying out a new idea, you then need to organize your ideas so that in order to other people will be able to understand and follow through with your vision. So being able to structure a plan of action with clear goals and deadline is vital. It's very necessary. So, uh, how do you think organization or clear minds, the concept of having clear clarity in your mind, actually can help you to become creative? Do we have any answer to this question?
Because you can free your mind from everything around you so you can think more deeply. Sometimes I often think of the best idea when I'm laying in my bed, so I often open my phone and write them down before I can forget them in the next morning.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, and also there are some research and studies on the similarity between human mind and the computer. So if you just stuff the hard drive of your computer with so much data and information, actually its performance will go down. Okay, so you don't need to just stuff any kind of data which is not useful. And actually, even if you have to do that, you need to organize the data in clusters and in categories, because if you do so, actually the cache of your hard drive, which is short-term memory, actually is not overloaded, and therefore you can come up with novel ideas or devise great strategies if it is needed. So make sure that your mind, to some extent, there are similarities between human brain and computer actually device or computer set, particularly the cache or RAM of the device, you know. Okay, so let's get back on track. And then the thing is, the research also suggests that placing self-imposed limitations can boost or increase creativity because it forces even creative people to work outside of their comfort zone. Okay, now I want to know what a comfort zone is. Who knows the definition of a comfort zone and some other synonyms for that?
It means place when you feel confident and maximum comfortable because you're used to such things.
Good.
For me, I think like doing things that's possible within your abilities, like there are limits, to what you can do, and you don't want to go outside that limit to achieve the impossible.
Very good. So you already know that, yeah. Comfort zone or safety zone or comfort level actually is referred to a psychological somehow issue in which you just resort to get away from problems that are daunting or frightening, and you feel secure in those areas and you don't want to get out of that, and which is let's say counterproductive. If you like to just succeed and go up the ladder of success, you need to step out of your comfort zone, and for that you need to have that courage, creativity, inspiration, and motivation. Motivation is also a key. So also on at the LELB Society, if you just use the search box and write down comfort zone, you will find some webinars, some lectures, some articles on this issue, comfort zone. Okay, so let me see. Critical thinking versus creative thinking. There are some dissimilarities. Number one, creative thinking tries to create something new, while critical thinking seeks to assess or evaluate worth or validity of something that already exists. So it's short, let me just put an end to that because time is up. Creative thinking is generative, while critical thinking is analytical. Creative thinking is divergent, while critical thinking is convergent. Creative thinking is focused on possibilities, while critical thinking is focused on probability. Creative thinking is accomplished by disregarding accepted principles, while critical thinking is accomplished by applying accepted principles. So, and also, if you like to have more information, you can click on the source link and you will have more detailed information about that. I really like this session. It was quite creative, and also we can learn from each other if we focus on some challenging and not definite concepts like this. And yeah, so do you have any question, anything?
Yes, what is the difference between probability and possibility? What is the difference point?
Good question. Probable and possible. Probable carries less likelihood. So they are very close to each other, but if something is probable, it means that the likelihood or possibility degree is weaker compared to possibility. They have almost the same meaning, but with that subtle difference.
Yeah, I kind of get that because I know probability is about the numbers actually, in fact, but possibility just talks about yes or no, just about can it.
Right, and that's why we have a branch in mathematics, and that is probability.
Yeah, probability and statistics.
Yes, exactly. Okay, any further question?
Thanks.
Okay,
No.
thank you for your participation, and take care of yourself. See you tomorrow at the same time, and take care. Bye bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
See you later.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.